Hello little story lovers, and welcome to our magical corner. Today we're journeying to a cozy little workshop to meet a kind old toy maker named Geppetto. He was the best at carving toys, but his heart held one big wish. Every single night, sitting by his warm fire, he'd sigh and say, "If only I had a son to keep me company." One sunny morning, Geppetto decided to carve a special puppet from a piece of pine wood. He gave it a round little nose, bright, cheerful eyes, and a smile that could warm any heart. "I'll call you Pinocchio," he said lovingly. He finished his work and placed the puppet by the fireplace before heading to bed. That very night, as the village slept, a soft, shimmering blue light filled Geppetto's workshop. A beautiful fairy with wings like dragonflies floated into the room. She saw the little puppet and heard the echo of Geppetto's lonely wish. "Dear Geppetto," she whispered, "your wish is so pure. This little puppet shall have life." She gently touched Pinocchio with her sparkling wand, and in an instant, his wooden eyes blinked open. Pinocchio sat up, wiggled his wooden fingers and toes, and then, in a cheerful voice, he called out, "Papa, look, I can move, I can talk." Geppetto woke up with a start and saw his little puppet dancing around the room. His heart filled with so much joy he thought it would burst. He scooped Pinocchio into a big hug and laughed. "My son, my dream has finally come true." The next morning was a big day. Geppetto gave Pinocchio some books and a shiny apple, sending him off to school to become a smart boy. But on the path to school, Pinocchio met two sly characters, a cunning fox and a sneaky cat. The fox leaned in close and whispered, "School? Why bother with boring books? There's a marvelous puppet show in town. A star like you could become famous." Pinocchio's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Famous? That sounds like much more fun than school." He completely forgot his promise to Geppetto and followed the tricky pair to the show. At the puppet theater, the crowd went wild for Pinocchio, the amazing puppet who could dance without strings. He loved the applause, but when the show was over, the cruel puppet master grabbed him and locked him in a dark cage. "You're mine now. You'll dance for me forever," he growled. Poor Pinocchio was terrified and started to cry. "I didn't mean any harm. I just wanted to have fun." Just then, the blue fairy appeared in a soft glow. She opened the cage and set him free. "Pinocchio," she said sternly but kindly, "this is your first lesson, and remember, every time you tell a lie, your nose will grow longer." Pinocchio nodded, promising, "I'll never lie again. I'll always tell the truth." But learning to be honest isn't always easy. When he got home, Geppetto asked him, "Pinocchio, did you go to school today?" Remembering the puppet show, Pinocchio felt a little scared and quickly lied. "Yes, Papa, I did." And just like that poof, his nose started to stretch. Longer, and longer, until it was so long it poked the wall across the room. Pinocchio gasped, looking at his ridiculous nose. Oh no, it's true. My nose. Tears welled up in his eyes as he confessed. I'm sorry, Papa, I lied. I went to a puppet show instead. The fairy appeared again with a gentle smile. She touched his nose with her wand, and it shrank right back to its normal size. Good boys always tell the truth, Pinocchio, she reminded him. Meanwhile, Geppetto had become so worried about his missing son that he'd gone to search for him by the sea and was swallowed by a monstrous whale. When Pinocchio heard the news, he didn't hesitate for a second. He rushed to the ocean and bravely jumped into the waves to save his father. The same giant whale saw him and Gope swallowed him whole too. Inside the whale's dark, cavernous belly, he found Geppetto. They hugged each other tightly. Don't worry, Papa, Pinocchio said bravely. I'll get us out of here. He cleverly lit a small fire with some wood. The smoke tickled the whale's nose. It tickled and tickled until the whale let out a giant sneeze, sending Pinocchio and Geppetto flying out of its mouth and safely onto the shore. Geppetto held his son close. You are my brave, honest boy, Pinocchio. At that very moment, the blue fairy appeared for the last time, her light brighter than ever. Pinocchio, she said, her voice full of pride, you have proven yourself to be kind, brave, and truthful. Your heart is no longer made of wood. Now you shall be a real boy. A wave of magic washed over him, and Pinocchio felt his wooden limbs turn soft and warm. He was human. Geppetto cried tears of joy, hugging his real, live son. My wish, he whispered, my greatest wish has finally come true. And so, the story of Pinocchio teaches us a wonderful lesson. Being honest, brave, and kind is what makes us truly real. Thank you for joining our story time today. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more magical tales. See you next time.